What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Today on the podcast, I have Robin Shockley. Oh, you know that name. You've heard that name. Oh, Robin Shockley may have helped you out in the past. Oh, you may have helped her. Well, you're going to get to know a little bit more about Robin Shockley in the next few minutes. So stick around. This week's shows, well, let's see. I have my one public show on Friday night, my regular Friday night gig at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. Pool tables. They got 10 diamond-style pool tables. In fact, they have a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're waiting to sing on stage right next to yours truly, come on out to the Rab, Conway, Arkansas, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. And then on Saturday, I'm so excited. I have a wedding. I know. You can't come unless you're invited, but I'm so excited that weddings are back. I get to be a part of people's big days. So if you're having a wedding, you can call on me. You can call on me. And I'll try not to sing, unless you want karaoke. I really enjoy when people do the weddings and they find that I have the screen set up already for music videos, and I'll put their logos up on the television screens, and they'll go, "Huh, can we do karaoke?" And I'll say, "Well, yes, you can." So I hand them each a microphone, or I hand a bunch of microphones out, and people just sing, and have a good time. Oh man, always a good time. Always glad to be a part of the show. Here, I know, people. I enjoy people, and I enjoy when people are having a good time, and I enjoy that I get to be a part of that good time. Yeah. Some days I think, well, maybe I'm getting too old for this. Maybe I should retire. Nope. Every time I do a show, it just lets me know that I enjoy it too much to stop doing it. All right, that's enough intro. Let's get into it with Robin Shockley. I got her on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN, or just look up KeysDAN on YouTube. You'll find the one with the Radio What logo there. That's the one I save for podcasts and radio stuff. All right, let's Skype Robin Shockley now. There she is, Robin Shockley in the house.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
You are the winner.
Does it show me echoing?
No, my loyal listeners will never know that we spent about 20 minutes trying to set this up. No big deal. That's what it's all about. Live podcasting, and I know how to edit. I have the ability to edit. I record and then I put it out there. But Robin Shockley, oh my goodness! Ever since Isabella Levy Belachka introduced us, I've been so excited to talk to you. I've been, of course, I've been creeping all over your Facebook page and all over your social medias. You have an IMDb page. You have an Instagram page. You have a Twitter that you really don't use all that often. Maybe you'll get that more up to speed. But let's start with I want to know. All right, if you were writing your own Wikipedia page, and I haven't looked to see if you have a Wikipedia page. But if Robin Shockley, you were writing your own Wikipedia page blurb, what would be the top paragraph or two? Who is a Robin Shockley?
I don't even know what a Wikipedia page is.
Well, that says a whole lot about you. If you were going to sum yourself up in maybe a paragraph or two, the broad strokes that we can delve into, what would a Robin Shockley be?
Oh my God. Robin Shockley is just, I'm literally just a small town country accent girl and who's just loves life, loves people. I'm known as Bubbles around the people I hang out with. So I'm just a very bubbly, energetic woman who has ambitions, and I love to serve people. So that's in a nutshell.
Well, birds of a feather do flock together, and Balachka is definitely in the same category. She's somebody that likes to help people. The reason I started this podcast, the reason I got into radio back in 19 blah 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 blah. I started because I wanted to help people, and I wanted to talk to people, and I wanted to know more about things in general, and maybe give the news to the people. Well, this is primarily a learning podcast, and I want people to learn from you, Robin Shockley. Everybody's got a story. The What Makes You Famous podcast is for people to tell their stories. And it's not what makes you famous. It's what my radio station, Radio What, makes you famous. Maybe you'll get a little bit more famous than you were. You'll find more people will find out more about you. But I'm looking at the blurb on your Facebook page. Visionary, blogger, PR agent, community advocate, speaker, talk show host, actress, author. These are tent poles. These are avenues that we can explore. Let's go with visionary. What makes Robin Shockley a visionary?
Oh wow. I don't see things as they are. I'm always looking ahead. I'm a focus forward kind of gal. So I'm always looking above and beyond where I'm at now. I'm expanding, I guess, so to speak. That makes me a visionary. Yeah.
Well, that leads me to your Facebook page, the Focus Forward with Robin. I got to know, and I love the picture, the three images of you, not quite a hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, but more of a, I'm crazy, I'm crazier, and I'm really crazy. I could be, you could be fun, you could be serious, but mostly you want to help people. What is Focus Forward with Robin?
Okay, well, I'll tell you how it all started. Focus Forward with Robin started when I went through a breakup. I had had a marriage that had ended, and I had to start my whole life over. So I chose to either rise or either, shine, so to speak, sink or swim. And so I had met with a good friend of mine, DeVecchio Riser, because I was trying to think about maybe getting a YouTube started, because I love to do these little motivational videos. I'd go on Facebook and I just talk about stories and just say, hey, this is what's going on, and this is how I want to motivate you today, yada, yada. And he says, well, you got to have a name, Robin. And I'm like, okay. And automatically Focus Forward with Robin came about because I was sitting in Pizza Hut in my town with this guy, DeVecchio Riser, who is a consultant. And he said, Robin, he said, that's perfect. Focus Forward Robin. And so that brand started, and I just started doing these little motivational things. And then I started writing for a magazine. I started writing these little stories. And my friend told me at that time, she was my mentor and my coach. And she said, Robin, she said, you need to do a Focus Forward Robin on the go. Like everywhere you go needs to be Focus Forward with Robin. And I was like, you know what? That sounds interesting. Let's do that. So I started doing Focus Forward with Robin. I started hosting red carpet events, started off as stage plays. And then people would have me host pageants, things like that. I would just do little bitty host judging pageants and stuff. And I would do interviews with people that I was, events I was at. And so I would just go all over around town where I'm from and start off doing that way. I was really investing in my own self because I was trying to build who I was, not even knowing what I was building at the time. And so it just grew, and it ended up expanding outside of my town. It started going from state to state, then internationally, and it's just crazy. So then it became a talk show where I actually had a podcast such as yourself. I did it for 3.5 years, and the podcast was all about pit to purpose, people that were entrepreneurs, people that were mothers, people that were community advocates, people that were councilmen, people that were out here trying to make an impact in other people's lives, but they didn't get seen, but they had a story. They had a pit to purpose story. And so that's how the Focus Forward Robin just brand expanded. So now I travel all over the country. I speak internationally through videos, and I interview people talking about their pit story and how they made purpose with it. So that's how the Focus Forward Robin just kind of just jumped out there.
Yeah, that definitely, like I said before, kindred spirits, you know, people that delve together. I knew that I was going to like you right off the bat. I mean, everything that you put out there on social media says that you like to help people. You like to talk to people. You like to find out more about people. You have a thirst for life, a thirst for knowledge, a thirst for experiences. And you know, I've told people before, you think locally and you act globally. That's something that's not new. But if everybody swept their own front yard, the whole world will be clean. You got to take care of the people in your own town, and the people that you tap on first are going to be your friends. They're going to be your neighbors. And that's what you did. You went around your town, and I don't even know where do you live?
I'm actually in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm from a small town called Berea. So I live in Travelers Rest, which is like 5 minutes down the road, but it's a small town called Greenville in South Carolina.
I think my stepdad, Larry, is or was from there. He's passed away since then. And I've been to Greenville, South Carolina. And the thing that I remember, I was probably, oh my goodness, I couldn't have been 5 or 6 years old, but I remember my mom grabbing her Minolta camera and going over a waterfall. And I remember that there was like this concrete walkway. You know, the two of us, I have a brother that's 3.5 years younger than me, but Larry, my stepdad, held us back, and then she kind of crawled over so she could take a picture of the waterfall in a certain way. Do you know of a waterfall in Greenville, South Carolina?
Well, actually, we have a lot of waterfalls, but there is, we have the Reedy River Falls, which is downtown Greenville. Gorgeous, very, very popular. A lot of people from all over come to Greenville because Greenville is known as a peaceful place. A lot of tourists come through. A lot of celebrities actually come through Greenville, South Carolina for peace. So I think it's like one of the top 10 cities in the United States. Yeah.
Well, I like the sound of that. You know, I think I need to get back to Greenville at some point. You've been a spokesperson for the Greenville Tourism Bureau just now. We're putting it on the What Makes You Famous walking tour. Head down to Greenville. Maybe you'll see Robin Shockley walking the streets, and maybe she'll give you a little interview. Now, some of these interviews that I've seen come down your feed, are they impromptu or are they set up? Do you tell people to come and meet you?
Nothing like what you're doing, like with your editing and all that. My videos are pretty much in the moment. It started out, it's called Focus Forward Robin on the go. You never know where I'm going to be. That's my little slogan. And so it's just like, I don't edit. It's in that moment. So you never know what's going to happen on camera. So thank God you edit your version because of what we just went through. But anyway, seriously though, you know, I love it. I love just being the impromptu. I love just getting out there and letting people just share. I love to showcase people. That's my main thing. I'm a big believer in sowing where you want to grow. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with how that is, but sewing to me, not meaning like stitching, you know, clothing and such, but sewing means investing, you know, investing into people, places, and things, helping them see what their purpose is and helping you discover what your purpose is through investing, sewing, whether it's financial sewing, whether it's resources and making those connections with people, or whether it's sewing with time, which is considered serving, you know, with events and things like that. And I'm going to tell you, this is exactly how I become successful, is because of service. It's because I've got myself in the rooms and I let the rooms work for me.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, sowing, sowing. That's the sowing for farming. You plant those seeds, you give it the right amount of nutrients, you give it that water. Now, we've come a long way. I've come a long way in this podcast myself. The first iteration of the What Makes You Famous podcast was very impromptu, such as the one you just said. I think I was over, well, I know I was over at Planet Fitness back in 2015, working out this fat body, trying to get it back in shape, in some kind of shape. And the one of the trainers was an aspiring comedian. So I came up with the What Makes You Famous podcast right there on the spot. Hashtag What Makes You Famous. So if you look up the hashtag What Makes You Famous and go back to 2015, it's probably 2 minutes of me talking to this aspiring comedian. Now I need to go back and find out if that comedian did well. That's one of the things that I like to do as well, is to touch back and see the progress. I don't want to have a podcast where I only talk to somebody one time, because people grow. This is a snapshot of where Robin Shockley is right now. You're a blogger. Okay, let's go with the second. You're a visionary. We kind of went through that. Let's go with blogger. What do you think? What kind of things do you blog about?
Oh, well, I blog pretty much just stories. Like if I see something and it's a picture that I see it's worth taking, like of the atmosphere or driving, and I might see something side the road, I will take a picture. And then it's weird. I'm a very spiritual woman, so I get a lot of things created from God. And so I will just come up with something and I'll just start a lot of times just typing and I'll blog about it on social media. And so it's everything I do is very inspirational, motivational. And then also I blog called with a brand under Focus Forward Robin, Tasteful Tips and Trips. And it's a food blogging. So I write for a couple of magazines. And in those magazines, it's Tasteful Tips and Trips, and it's all about food experiences that I have when I'm traveling, because I travel all over the country. So I'll go to different restaurants to eat, and so I'll write about and give a review of those restaurants and the food that I eat and enjoy.
Wait a minute, you're a secret. What do they call those? The people that go and what do they call the people that eat food?
Like a secret shopper.
A shopper, yeah, I guess. But
yeah, I'm a secret blogger, maybe. I guess that's what you would call it, food blogger. But yeah, people don't know that I come and do it because I just some people will hire me to come, but then some people don't know. I go on my own, and if you're good enough, if I see that you're good enough, I will actually put you in a magazine. So I write for 2 different magazines, and one is the Heat Seekers out of Atlanta, Georgia, and one is Pain to Purpose out of Gaffney, South Carolina, which is in Walmart and Barnes & Noble. So it's international as well. But so I love I'm a love to write. I love to blog. I love to tell stories. I'm a storyteller. I blog about everything. Like right now, let me tell you something. I just picked up, it's not on the list, but I did not plan to be an Uber driver. I've actually started driving, and I was like, why am I driving for Uber? I thought it was to just try to make money, but really it wasn't even about the money. It's the people that I meet. And it's like, how people they'll go to their barber, or either they'll go to the bar and they'll tell people their stories. Well, I end up getting people that tell me their life stories. And so I'll be able to, I motivate them and encourage them. Sometimes I'll even pray with them. It's really interesting. So, and so I blog about that. I blog about the experiences that I have in the car. So I'm always having stories to tell.
Yeah, Robin Shockley, a very popular show was Taxi Cab Confessions. And between jobs, I think I got laid off from one job, so I started driving with Conway Yellow Cab here in Conway, Arkansas. And I did that for about 2 months because I was a terrible cab driver, because at night I always have karaoke shows. So the cab company wanted me to work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But unfortunately, some of my shows started at 6, so I was always wanting to get off 2 hours early. So, and the guy who hired me to be the cab driver was a friend of mine, Michael, and he said, I got to let you go. And I said, yeah, that's fair. That makes sense, because I was terrible. I always had to get off early. But you're right about getting conversations and talking to people. One of the things about being a cab driver is you do get conversations. Now, did any of those conversations get recorded and put out there on social media, or was this all purely for your own nourishment?
I'm not going to expose, because I met some interesting people, but I'm not going to expose their private stories unless I had permission. So yeah, I haven't recorded any of that. So
well, that's cool.
But I have wrote a book. So in my book, I did have people purchase my books from being in my car when I kind of like motivate and share stuff with them. And I'll tell them stuff in the book and they'll say, how can I get a copy of your book? And I'll say, well, if you turn on the light in the back seat, you can see the book. And I'll have it in the little, the little pocket there. And they'll say, I want to buy it.
Oh, that is cool. And the gang, that's a nice thing about, well, I mean, you're exposing your brand. It's twofold. You're not only making a couple of bucks, driving people around, but you're also exposing them to the other endeavors that you're into. That's marketing. That's another telling bit about you. And that's a great, man, Robin Shockley, you're a brand. You're making something out of this. And Focus Forward is just a small part of who you are. You're much bigger than that. Tell me about. All right, you were talking about the secret shopper, and I just had to do an offshoot. When I was a kid, I was a teenager, maybe just out of high school. I was working for KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And this portion of the podcast brought to you by KFC. No, I was one of the jobs that I had besides cooking and selling the chicken was going around and being a QSC specialist, quality service and cleanliness, going around and making sure that the chicken was the right temperature, the places were clean, the service was proper. And this is something that you do, and you actually blog about it. But you're fun. Funnily, this is something I hadn't thought about in a long time. And what you said, it jarred a memory, and I enjoyed that. I appreciate that. And also, I'm very hungry thinking about your food blog. I want to make some of the food there. Tell me about the latest creations that you have blogged on there.
Oh gosh, you talking about with the food?
Yes. Daddy likes food.
Well, you can go on my Facebook is where I mainly do it. So go on Facebook, and then under albums where it has photos, it'll be the albums that says Tasteful Tips and Trips. You'll see on the cover of it, it'll be a picture of me by an airplane jet. And it'll have my logo, Tasteful Tips and Trips, and it'll have the list of different places that I've been, and I'll have the messages. But there's been a couple of places in Hollywood that I have recorded that's on there that I put them in a couple of magazines where I've been. My favorite is in my hometown, which is a little Italian place called Portofino's. They have an amazing, authentic Italian food. It's so good, and right here on Haywood Road. That's a little plug for them in Greenville, South Carolina. But it's my favorite, and there's none like it. So, but you can go on Facebook under the albums, Tasteful Tips and Trips, and you can read about the places. Yeah.
Well, that's another little thing about you is you give shout outs to people that have helped you along the way. And if you find some place that's good, don't keep it a secret. Tell everybody about it. Sometimes people will come up when I'm doing a karaoke show and they'll tell me something. Hey, today is my birthday, and don't tell anybody, but it's my birthday. And I said, I have a microphone in front of my mouth, right? I'm going to tell everybody it's your birthday. Somebody, wish that kid a happy birthday. She's 21 years old, and she's celebrating their first drink ever.
Yeah.
And they drank before, but they may or may not. I don't want to incriminate anybody, but once you know something very good, you want to tell the world about it. And that's what you've been doing, Robin Shockley. And I'm telling, hopefully we're people are learning more about you. Well, all right. I know that Bella Levy gave me you, and then you in turn have given me someone else that's coming on. And that leads me to PR agent, the next tent pole. You're a PR agent. When did that happen?
Oh my gosh. It's crazy because everything that I do has been because somebody else saw it in me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, remember in the beginning, I started my life from nothing 4 years ago. I had to start my whole life over after a marriage breakup. And so people just started seeing things in me. And I was doing PR and didn't even realize I was doing PR. It was crazy because like what you said, I'm helping people. And it got to a point. I remember one time this musician called me, the songwriter, R&B songwriter called me, and he's like, what's it going to take for you to be my manager? What can you do to help get me showcased out there and talked about? And I was like, okay, So and finally it hit me. Then I started having other people calling me. And so I called one of my mentors, Chaplain John McClung out of Atlanta, Georgia, with Kingdom Creations. I called him and I said, John, I don't know what to do, but I'm getting people calling me. How do I handle this stuff? And he says, Robin, you're doing this already, but now it's time for you to make money, invest money with it. Because like I said, I'm always promoting people. I was going around my hometown, just showcasing people, not charging fees. I was sowing where I really wanted to grow. And at that time, I didn't even know exactly where I wanted to grow to, but I wanted to grow into something because I had to build an income base. And so one day, my first paying client, I will tell you this, I get paid for my interviews. So with my talk shows and stuff like that, that's like a base automatically. I get paid for that just to get 15 minutes of limelight on social media. I do interviews all over social media for that. But also, my first paying customer as a public relations agent is Mr. Larry Durr with Guns and Grams out of Baltimore, Maryland. He's with G&G Productions. He saw me doing an interview with a celebrity out of Atlanta, Georgia. And he said, and he was friends with this celebrity's co-actor on Saints and Sinners. And he said, I got to find out who this white woman is. He literally said it. I got to find out who this white woman is that's interviewing Karan Joseph Riley. He said, because she's standing out. So he contacted me, and he had started back building his empire, so to speak, with his production company. And he's like, well, what's it going to cost for me to get an interview with you? And I said, well, it's going to cost this. All he wanted at that time was just an interview. And so I told him, so, he got me down there to do his own personal interview. Well, then it was crazy. We were on a video another time after I did that interview. I was somewhere and he was and he announced to the world, so to speak, that I was his publicist. He said, Robin's my new publicist. She's going to Hollywood with me. And I turned and looked at him, and then I got off the camera and I'm like, are you for real? And so he flew me down there to Hollywood and everything. And I've been with him for over a year now, and helping build his team, building his stigma with interviews. I need to get you connected to him, by the way. He's an amazing interviewee. And so, it's great, but that was my first paying as a PR agent. Now with doing, that was movies. So since then, I've picked up actors, I picked up chefs, authors, to promote. So I don't just stick in the movie industry. And now, as you know, with your guest that's going to be coming on with you at another time, I'm in the music industry. So I'm really excited about that. Building and working with Carolina Two-Time Shine and Mr. Big South and their team. And so I love doing public relations, but I've been doing it for several years and didn't even realize that's what I was doing. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for telling me about Carolina Two-Time Shine, because I was trying to figure out how I pronounced that. But you have been doing this, probably longer than you can imagine, like you said, and it's become a job. You know, what's funny is you're doing something that you love and you turn it into a career. That's, was that, Clarence Clemens, Clarence, wrote Tom Sawyer. He said, do something that you love for a living and you'll never work a day in your life. Oh,
Okay.
now I know I'm paraphrasing, and I know people are shouting at their radios right now like they listen to podcasts on radios. Never, never. I'm old. Okay, I'm old. But no, they're shouting, "Hey, it's this, it's that." Mark Twain. Mark Twain. Do something.
Yeah.
I think he was the one that said, "Do something that you love for a living, and you'll never work a day in your life." I hope I credited him, the right person, with that. But I love that you've turned this love that you have of talking to people, helping people. Because I tell people all the time, take care of yourself. Make sure that you are straight, that you are, your mental health is good, your body's good, you're physically good, and then try to help somebody else. If we help each other, that's what we're supposed to be doing, not pushing each other away. Help each other out. That's what, and that brings me to your next tent pole, the community advocate. When you're going around your own hometown, talking to people, talking to store owners, people on the streets. I know one of my favorite things, when Jay Leno was on the Tonight Show, is jaywalking, and even Billy Eichmann when he does his Billy on the streets, even though he goes really loud and into people's faces, and what are you doing? But you go and you learn a little bit, and you give them a little FaceTime, because people want to be heard, to be. The reason that we're on social media is because you want people to know, hey, I'm a person. I'm valuable. I have something to offer my community, and that's what you're doing. Is you're taking those people and giving them a platform. But tell me about the people in your community.
Oh my gosh. And my community's not just in my hometown. I mean, like I said, I'm international. So I have an outreach, which is called Girls Gifted for God, which is an outreach for women and youth girls, where we go into the shelters, we give back. People that are hosting events, we help contribute, like beauty items. And sometimes I go in and speak, because I'm a speaker. So I go in and speak, motivate them to let them see the inner beauty as well as help them feel good on the outer beauty. But with doing the Girls Gifted for God, I've kind of partnered with Dr. John Williams out of Colorado, who is from Arkansas. But I with him with his nonprofit called Come On In Incorporated, and we give back. Like I said, it's not just in my hometown. He sews into what I'm doing. I sew into what he's doing financially. I drove to Colorado 21 hours by myself last year. Yes. I know it's crazy. I was receiving a Woman of the Year award for the Extraordinary People Awards. And so I was also the presenter helping host it. And so, but I didn't want to fly to Colorado because I had a whole bunch of donations that we were going to take to a women's shelter. And I didn't want to, I didn't know how much I could take with me on the plane. So I was like, I'll just drive. So I drove there, and we went and serviced and went and gave these donations. And we've also been able to give back to Africa. We've been able to give back to India, which is exciting. My favorite all-time icon of history is Audrey Hepburn. She was a humanitarian. And so I kind of lived my life after her pattern. Being an actress too, but she was so compassionate for the less fortunate and the people that suffer. And so that's where I'm passionate for, is to give back. So as far as I help other organizations here in my community, and locally, but I also give back internationally as well, and I partner with Come On In Incorporated.
Oh my goodness! See, and I'm once again kindred spirits. I like to drive everywhere, even though my mom and dad both worked for the airlines. I could have flown practically for free, if not free, everywhere. But I like driving because I like having my vehicle. I get there. And then, once the event is over, if I want to go and visit with the town and take in the local flavor, you have your vehicle with you. Yes, I could rent a car if I want, but there's nothing like having your own vehicle. But driving 21 hours, that's a little crazy. I'm from Miami.
That's the longest I've ever driven before, but it was worth it. It was worth it.
I'm from Miami, so if I have to go back to town, back down to Miami, it's 20 hours, straight. So, but I commend you on that. And it's nice to be recognized. You were going there for an award, not only to be a presenter, but also for an award. And it was nice that you helped out the locals with the with the donations. That's fantastic. See, that's community advocate all over it. We're helping.
Yes.
It's people helping people. It's Robin Shockley helping people. Now, you did mention actress, and I perused your IMDb page. Yes, my loyal listener, Robin Shockley has an IMDb page, and it says that you're mostly in the casting. Well, tell me about your experience with filmography and casting and producing and costume designing. Oh my goodness.
Oh, no. That one's not me.
Okay.
Robin Shockley's.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the type of Robin Shockley I want to be.
Okay.
but
I see the
that
one that
part.
I see yours now. It's you have yes, I see Robin Shockley, actress and additional crew. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one. It's got your picture right on it. I'll put that in the show notes so people can find out more. But tell me about it.
Okay, well, that's something new. That one is, I'm just now tapping into the actress world, so to speak. I've only done a little bit. I've done some stage plays. I've done some short films. So, like I said, I'm just tapping into it. I haven't had any coaching with training, but everything that I've done as far as acting, I haven't applied for anything. They came to me. So I remember my first time that I was in a short film called Southern Tea. And it was a story about me, which was crazy because the guy who wrote it, he didn't even know my story. He barely even knew me when he was writing it. So then he said, I feel you're a good part for this. And I was like, then I found out what the script was. I was like, oh my God, this is my life story. It's crazy. But, and then the stage play, I played a grandma before, an old person, a comedy. I love comedy. I've done the abused wife. I've been the side chick. I've been the gangster grandma with Mr. George Alfred. It's crazy that, but my first experience literally being on a stage was with Miss Keisha Rivers with I Am Flavor Productions. She believed in me. And I'm going to tell you a story about that because when I talked about serving, doing community stuff, one of the ladies that I write for her magazine, Tangi Roseborough with Pain to Purpose, she was hosting an event called Women of Strength in Atlanta, Georgia. I happened to be in town that weekend, and I was going to be free that Saturday. And so I called her up. I said, hey, do you need help with anything? Can I come help serve? Now, she had probably about 50 or 60 women being honored. And she said, oh my God, Robin, I really could use your help. So I ran errands for her. I ran to Walmart. I helped her mother with the food. I just did, and I did some showcasing, doing interviews, taking pictures, things like that. No big deal to me. I was just getting in the room to help. Had no idea what she was about to do. She pulled me to the platform for about 4 to 5 minutes, and she said, Robin's one of my contributing writers for my magazine. Just briefly introduce yourself and say, what you do and tell a little bit about your story. Well, this is in the beginning when I first started, I walked out of my marriage, so I'm a domestic violence advocate. So I got up and I talked about how I chose to take the mask off and to be free, to be like the free bird and to move into my purpose and to help other people and, to find my way. Basically, that's all that I said, right? Well, the woman that was in the audience that mattered the most at that time was Miss Keisha Rivers, and I did not even know it. She actually lives in Hollywood now, but at that time she lived in Atlanta. And so she contacted me and said she had been following me for a year. After this, a year later, she contacted. She said, I followed you on social media. I saw what you were about. I saw what you were doing. I saw how you love to help people. She said, I'm doing a stage production, and it's a small part. She said, but would you be interested in playing a part in this? I have a role for you. And I was like, okay, well, I was already being cast to do the actress filming with the other thing, the new one that I was doing with Southern Tea with my friend Tony Wright. Well, I said, okay, but the thing is, I live in Greenville, remember? Mm-hmm. Greenville, South Carolina. No, I was going to my show at that time once a month, with the Regina Sunshine Global Network. I was going there to Atlanta once a month to do rehearsals, scheduled rehearsals. I had to sometimes go 2 times a week to Georgia. That's 12 hours a week. Okay. I never missed a beat. I might have been late maybe 15 or 20 minutes, maybe 1 or 2 times, but I never skipped a rehearsal. I went to every rehearsal and I got myself in the room and I observed. I watched how she did things in excellence and I learned from it. And that was so humbling. And we were talking about driving. That drive was some of my most creative moments for business. Mm-hmm. God spoke to me. He would give me creative things to do while I'm on that highway. So it was so important. So Keisha Rivers will always be special to me because she gave me my first break in acting and gave me the ability to stretch myself. Because who was really going to drive all the way 12 hours a week and this was for a couple of months. A week to do these rehearsals. But I just knew I could go. I would get off work at 5 o'clock and I would head to Atlanta. And sometimes I went home to 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. But because I'm a networker, of course, I'm going to make contacts after I have these rehearsals. I might meet 1 or 2 people, and network a little bit because I'm like, I'm going to make this worthwhile. So, but yeah, so, that's how my acting started because she believed in me. And so other people saw it. And I'm a promoter. So I'm constantly promoting. Anybody, and this is my slogan, everything attached to me wins because who I'm attached to. So if you're latched on to me, then you're going to win. You're a champion. You're going to have favor because I know how to get you connected to the right people. And I'm going to bring you good vibes. I'm going to help build your brand, and so I love that. So even with acting, I'm still going to promote.
Robin Shockley, you have an amazing work ethic as it is, okay? And on an independent film, I'm guessing it's independent. They don't have a lot of time to be dilly-dallying. So yes, if they have these requirements where you have to rehearse, you better be there. And you have that, when you're that committed, she gambled on you and she believed in you, but Robin Shockley, you believe in you. You believe that you can do this. You believe that you had the ability to be an actress and to contribute to that project and to make it that much better just by being involved with it. And so you are betting on you that you can do it because you've already told me you haven't had any training. Did you in school? Did you do any plays at all or anything at all?
No. And what's so crazy is I was at the Atlanta Actors Awards with Kelvin Chill Harris, right? This guy, he had put on this big event. He had done it like for a couple of years and such. And I was interviewing people, and then I would be at the stage plays interviewing people at other events. And they're like, Robin, you got the personality. You need to be acting. You need to get out there. And I'm like, I'll never be an actress because I won't ever pretend again. I pretended for 28 years in my marriage. I won't pretend again. So I was like very stubborn to acting. I laughed and made a joke about it. Mm-hmm. But then because they were seeing something in me, it's just like, and then she approached me and then Tony Wright approached me and I'm like, okay. So now I'm having different people approach me and now I'm helping actors. I'm taking them on as clients. I'm actually supposed to go to Hollywood soon to be in a film and there. So I'm real excited about that. So it's crazy, but yeah, you're right. I believed in myself, but it's because I had people speaking into my life, people saying that they could see it in me. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And I was like, finally it sunk.
Yeah, Robin Shockley, I think I've seen that in memes. She believed she could, so she did.
I have it hanging up in my hallway every day. I look at it. I had a friend that gave that to me, a woman who is building her empire. She has multiple businesses, Brenzilla Hill. She, here in Greenville, South Carolina, she's hired me for a couple of her events, and she saw it in the store one day, and she said, you know what? And she's like my icon hero locally, because I'm like, this woman's like building business after business after business, and she bought this for me, and I have it hanging in my hallway, and I look at it every day.
Robin Shockley, I'm glad you give credit where credit is due. I could see, you've already let me know we don't do this all by ourselves. We need people. We need each other to keep this
Yes.
crazy life going because, life has its ups and downs. I know there's crazy stuff going all over the world, going
Yeah.
on right now as we speak. There's people that are dying, from for no apparently no good reason. Is there ever a good reason for people to die? I don't think so. But, people are dying all over this crazy world. And you've already talked about your faith a little bit. Expound on that. How does your God help you? And what does your God mean to you, Robin Shockley?
Oh my gosh, God is everything to me. Jesus Christ. That's that. I'm a Christian. I don't just say I'm a Christian. I say I'm a faith believer. Okay. I believe in the relationship with Christ, and how He's helped me is that, speaking life. I believe in there's power of life and death in the tongue. And so what comes out of your mouth, I had to learn this a hard way with some of the things that I've experienced and been through, and how I choose to speak and how I choose to act. But there is power of life and death in the tongue. And so I'm very big on speaking life. So I write affirmations all over, positive affirmations. I've got scriptures hanging up all in my apartment. I listen to a variety of music, especially now working with the music industry. But I'm really big on a gospel singer named Mandisa. Now, I don't know her personally. If anybody knows her, if you got connections, you can let me get a chance to meet her. I'm going to show you a picture of her.
Mm-hmm.
This is Mandisa. I just purchased her book online, and I cannot wait to read it. But it was her music that got me through. Her faith-believing Christian music of motivation and how God helps you overcome obstacles and everything, that helped me realize how valuable God is to me, and how I can withstand any obstacle that comes my way, that I am an overcomer, and God isn't finished with me, and I am a champion, and I'm born to stand out, and I know it. And so I'm so grateful for my relationship. I do prayer devotions. I do communion with the Lord daily. So I'm very strong in my faith with Christ. Yes.
Well, I mean, with social media, you can get a hold of Mandisa for sure. Just send her a tweet. Now,
Yeah.
when I was a younger man, and I guess all through my 20s, I was really searching, for faith. And I think at one point I was a zealot. I was just all up in that Bible, all, reading it. I've read it at least 5 times, probably more, different versions of it. And it's a good book. But I find that the people that when they get involved, when you go to different churches, and I love the gathering, I love the fellowship. That is the beautiful thing. But then once you get some people involved, it just gets, I think the teachings of the Bible are perfect, but when the people get involved and try to interpret it their own way, it just, that's where it all falls apart, like a house of cards.
I'm gonna tell you this. With me, this is how I witness to people. I go by what my experiences are. What I feel that what the Lord has done for me, and how I've come out of certain situations, and I couldn't have done it on my own. There had to be a higher power to, interpret it and interrupt my way of doing things to help me. I mean, I should be dead today. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I should literally be dead today. I've had situations where I was knocking on death's door, but thank God, I know that He has saved me by grace. And so, yeah, you're right. Sometimes you get in the church, and I've served in the church. I was in the mega church in leadership. I've taught leadership classes. I was all in that. But it really boils down to a person's own personal experience, and you have to experience it for yourself, and let God speak to you what that interpretation is in the Word.
Yeah, I think like Elvis, where even when he died, the book that he was reading was something about the search for the face of Jesus, something like that. And he's always spiritual and trying to find his way. And I like Elvis. I like the way, but he wasn't a perfect man, just like me.
Yes.
And you're talking about I should be dead. Yeah, when I was in February of 1987, I got in a motorcycle wreck. I was riding motorcycles back then, and I think I was probably dead. You know, they told me I was dead. And was it a miracle that I'm not dead, or was it, you know, the science of the doctors that put me back to life? Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know. Is there a God? Isn't there? I don't know. Nobody can say for sure if there is or there isn't, or, you know, because it's out there. But you know, my faith has been tested so many times, and I admire people that have a zealous faith in their God, whoever they hold that to be. You know, a higher power, somebody that guides them. You know, if they need that extra little push. I mean, you know, just try to be nice to people. Even if you don't believe in God, just try to be nice to people.
That's right.
Help each other out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about the authorship. Are you writing books? Are you writing stories?
Yes. I wrote a devotional book.
What?
It's a 31-day devotional. It's called Catching the Vision to Focus Forward with a New, Bold, and Brave Life. It's on Amazon. And it's really just a simple book with different stories in it. And I have like certain titles. I love to write. So it's basically it's a self-help book, basically. So it's got a Bible verse, and then it has a title like thinking outside the box, living your legacy today, accepting forgiveness, networking with others, utilizing your gifts, being single and set free. You know, I mean, it's got these things. And then I have Bible verses that go with it. Then I share pieces of my personal story because I'm a storyteller. So I share pieces of my story. And then I give you challenges. So what you can do to apply it to your own personal life. And then I have a prayer at the end. So that's one of the books that I've written. Like I said, I do write articles for the magazine as well, stories. But I'm working on the new book, which is Sow Where You Want to Grow, what I've already talked to you about sowing, and it's got stories of testimonies of how I had, at one time I didn't have $1.17 in the bank, and within 24 hours I had over $1,000. Yeah, crazy. You know, because just because of past investments and stuff of not sowing money into other people, but just sowing time or resources. And that's how I look as God has blessed me back. So kind of like a pay it forward thing, but the sow where you want to grow, it kind of goes along with that, but it goes a little bit deeper. And if you're interested in my services, I can help you with that.
See, Robin Shockley, that book just tied it all up. You know, it went back to the visionary, you know, what we already, you know, where we talked about in the beginning. And you are giving people visions, little insights. You know, how that's one of my favorite things when I was in Bible groups and Bible studies was tearing that Bible open and learning about it. You know, I was born into a Catholic family, and every time I even went to Catholic school, and every time I asked the priest, you know, about something that I didn't understand, tell me about this. A lot of times the answer I got was, it's a mystery. I don't think that there's that many mysteries. If he took the time to write this book, if there is a God that spoke through all these prophets, you know, and took the time to write this book, all the answers have to be in that book, right? So, you know, if you do what you're doing, Robin Shockley, taking the Bible apart piece by piece, verse by verse, because originally it really wasn't numbered like we have, and thankfully, you know, we've had scholars and people that are smarter than me for sure that have numbered the Bible verses and taken the time to split it apart, make it a little more bite-sized, so you can, Robin Shockley, go through and take a verse and then let people know what that means to you. And that's a beautiful thing. And now, are you doing that daily on your blog as well?
You know, I did, and I wanted to start back again. I did do it for a year. It's weird because talk about sowing where you want to grow, how this even came about. I invested and I bought somebody else's book and I bought it for not just myself, but I bought it for 2 more people, and I put it on social media who was a single mom, because the book was about a single mom and the stories and the things that she went through. I cried reading the book. I invested in her, and a week later, somebody else offered me an opportunity to collaborate with them and write a book. So I'm in that. I'm also in the Sports Karate Museum book with the living legends of Professor Gary Lee. I'm an ambassador for that organization, that nonprofit. And so, I've collaborated and went through a couple of books with that and writing for people. But it all started for me to even write this book was because I invested solely into somebody else's dream and passion of being an author. And that's how it all pulled together. It was crazy. This is what it talks about. I had a laptop donated to me by my friend LP, Leonard Pitts. He gave me a laptop. It was crazy. Somebody paid for my internet service a whole year. Didn't know I wanted to have the vision to write a book because I didn't have internet to do research and stuff. And then I didn't have a laptop to write the book. But see, that's what I'm talking about. God knew my vision. He saw and he knew ahead and more than I did, but I knew I wanted it. I could see it happening. It all just fell into place. One day I woke up and then like, boom. But I invested, I sewed into it. And so it's amazing how it all come together with writing the book. So, I have so much more that I want to do, but writing the Sewing Where You Want to Grow book, there's so many stories that I'm going to share about, the testimonies of how helping other people has come to pass to bring me success.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people have thought about writing a book, and you've written, not just a book, but also many articles, and you already have another book in the process. I'm sure people have thought about being an actor, and then, but never followed through. How many IMDb credits do I have on mine? 0. How many do you? Oh, at least 3. So, I mean, you are believing in yourself. You're focused forward. You're going through. You're not just, having the desire, you're putting it out into the universe, but you're being nice to people. You go and you help people, and in turn, they believe in you, and then they want to do nice things for you. Yes, you needed a laptop. Hey, I got an extra laptop. Here you go. Hey, you need internet? Oh, I got a little bit extra for some internet. Here you go. You help people, and you never know when that's going to come back to you, and it's coming back to you. It's happened to me over my life, so I know that it happens. Yes. You're nice to people, and in turn, they're going to say, that DJ was pretty nice. I think I want to have him at my wedding. I think I want to have him at my event. I want him to be a part of this show, of this project. And that's what they do for you. Robin Shockley, you're good to people. You're nice to people. I've had a great time talking to you. I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. As time progresses, I want you to come back on and tell people about new books that are happening, new shows that are happening, a new podcast, new whatever focused forward event that you're doing, Robin Shockley. But I'm also, go ahead.
I was going to say, focus forward with Robin. And the reason it's with Robin is because, what did I say earlier? Everything attached to me wins. So that's why people say, oh, this is Robin Shockley with Focus Forward. No, it's Robin Shockley with Focus Forward with Robin.
That's right. Well, thank you for correcting me, and thank you for building that brand and helping the people that you have helped in the past, and you're going to continue to keep doing it. You're going to keep, and I can see nothing but forward. You going forward is going to be benefiting this, not just your community. Well, your community is the whole wide world potentially, and even beyond. If we get to Mars, Robin Shockley's going to be focused forward out there too. So
right.
I'm also mindful of people's time. So as we wind this thing down, you've given shout outs to people all through this, and people that are listening. And hopefully the people that you have shouted out have been listening and have been very appreciative of what you've done for them, and you're appreciative of what they do for you as well. Yes. But if you have any other shout outs you need to give before we wind this thing down, and then we'll give last words for the people.
Well, absolutely. Shout out to Miss Bella Levy, because He's the one who got me connected to you. And it's so exciting that, and I appreciate you having me on the show so much, because it's such an honor to come on and actually showcase people, help people, build their brands and give them that platform there. And so I'm very appreciative to you for having me come on and share pieces of my life and how I've been successful and how I've overcome things. And I'm always saying, if you remember this, if you think a thing, you believe a thing. If you believe it, you will achieve it. And it's obvious that that's exactly what you're doing. So kudos to you. And so I want to shout out to you, Mr. Keys, for for being who you are, and being helpful and being the light and being an amazing podcast host. Awesome.
Well,
awesome job.
I appreciate that so much, Robin Shockley. It's easy when you have people like you that just to chat with, a smiley person, a very outgoing person, a very focused forward person, just somebody that wants to be a part of the community. I mean, there's something to be said for people that are hermits as well and want to live off the grid. And I don't fault them at all, man. But for me, hey, I need people. I recently moved out to the country. I used to be a city boy. Now I'm a country mouse. So there's less people out here, but I do travel into the city to do to get my fix of people. Because I need those people around me to get those experiences. All right, yes. Robin Shockley, let's close this thing up. I usually like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long, long time ago, or just maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Robin Shockley, last words for the people.
All right. Know that the measure of who we are is what we do with what we have. You know what? The patience that you have is going to take you places, because if you can be patient to take in and soak in the wisdom of other people, that's what's going to grow you. Remember to always get yourself in the room and let the rooms work for you. So where you want to grow. And as I said before, think, believe, and achieve, because it will happen.
Oh, my goodness. There you have it, party people. Robin Shockley. She's a person, a good person, a person that likes to help out the community. Yeah, I need to figure out how to, how to, do what she does, where, I like helping people. And, for the most part, I'll do it. I guess if there's a job that you'll do for free and you get paid for it, that's just so much better. That much better. When you turn something that you love into a job that you can, get monetary advance, that's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love it. And I appreciate Robin Shockley so much. I mean, you find her on her Facebook page. She has it all on there, from the top to the bottom. It's public relations with Carolina, I forgot, 2 Times Shine. And then, Guns and Grams and Come On In Inc. and World Women Conference and Awards at Atlanta, Justice Through Redemption, Scars of Survival Magazine, CIA Media, Your City Magazine, Heart of the Carolinas Home Care, Focus Forward with Robin, Girls Gifted for God. She's so much. She does so much. I don't know where she finds all the time, but, you do one thing at a time, I guess. You do. You focus on this project, and then when that project's over, you go focus on that project, and you keep on focus forward with Robin Shockley. All right. Thank you so much, Robin Shockley, for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast. I appreciate it so much. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. If you, yes, you, my loyal listener, would like to be on the podcast, I encourage you to give me a call. 501-470-6386 or email KeysDAN@AOL.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.